It's Wednesday. It's 3 o'clock. I wonder what model I'm going to show you today on Monster Hobbies What's in the Box. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in this box?
What's in the box?
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Monster Hobbies model car unboxing, and today we're actually going to have a mystery car, which will be really exciting. So I want you guys to guess what car it is as you see the parts coming up on your screen. But if you know the car, whatever you do in the comments down below, do not write, oh, the car is, what I want you to do for fun is to write down the time that you realized what the car was. So if it's like a minute in, just type in, I guessed it in a minute, or if it's like at the end of the video, I had to watch it all the way through to know what car it is. So that's the game we're going to play. And if you do say, oh, the car is blah blah in the comment, I'm going to delete that comment because I really want this to be a mystery video. So without further ado, let's go and see what's in the box. Now here's the first clue, if you can recognize these. These are nice tires that have some diamond pattern around the white wall area. And I just happen to have 4 of them. 2 came off of the parts tree here and there. But yes, have a good look at those tires. You see the nice detail on them. They have some good tread pattern here, but there's a bit of flash. We'd have to take that off with our sandpaper to get a good tire out of that. And the kit also has these 2 tires that are nicely molded with that pie crust type tread on them. So you can tell by the era that this kit is from the 60s. Again, a bit of flash trim and sanding on the treads will make this look really nice. Now let's move on to our next piece and see if you can guess what car this is. Next we have this nice multi-piece part tree, which includes all the engine pieces. Now this one has fallen off here, but that's okay because I will put it back in the box later. Now, how many of you can recognize this style of engine? And a good clue is what manufacturer made engine blocks like this, where you can see the heads with the cylinder chambers molded into the top. There we go. It's autofocus, making it more mysterious. And an engine block with a crankcase in it. Now, considering the vintage of this kit, there's only one manufacturer that would make such a kit. Can you guess what it is? Okay, let's go examine our next part tree. Here's our next part tree, and as you can see, it's got a really nicely detailed seat here. Shows the seatbelt detail as well as the padding on the chair. Then we have this 2-piece differential, very nicely molded. And then here is the upper arms where the shock absorbers would go. And we have a simple plastic axle with the 2 pins. So this model, the mystery model, has front wheel steering. And there's one of the cross brace pieces for the suspension as well. And now let's examine our next parts tree. And now we have our next part tree. How's your guessing going? Are you able to figure this out yet? Well, here we can see that the car is going to be very narrow in the front, as well as very low, because this is our radiator here. You can see there's some very nice detail on it as well. The connection areas for our hoses to go in, they've got nice pinholes there, so you can locate the hoses better. And you can tell that our frame is a bit stepped down because the differential, it's actually, not the differential, the drive thing, his drive shaft, is bent up at this angle. And then we have more of our upper and lower A arms, or our mounting positions for those. And some very interesting frame components. So again, take a good look at that. If you've built this model in the past, you should know what it is. If not, stay tuned as we go on to our next parts. Now I want to show you this very nice chrome tree that we have. And as you can tell, there are a lot of pieces on here. The chrome is quite nice, although the parts are a little bit thin. And that should be a clue to some of you nostalgic guys who understand the older kits. As you notice, we have 2 sets of wheels. We have 4 of the standard style chrome reverse dog dish type of wheels. And then down here we have some very nice American style mag wheels. These are brake drums, I believe. And here we have these nice hubcaps, baby moons with a little point. And remember, when you do your chrome, to scrape off the chrome where it's going to connect. So on the top of this ring, which is the bottom, and then inside here where my thumbnail was going around, and then you take that and glue it on there. And because you're plastic to plastic, you will get good contact. And here we have the coil springs, all chromed, as well as the shock absorbers. And, oh, the front suspension. You want to be careful with those, not to break off any components. Turning this over, we have a blower, 2-piece, as well as these nice chrome valve covers, an oil pan. There's the front of the blower, where your timing chain would go up to, the intake, and some very nice foot pedal arrangement, as well as some other little chrome bits, a rod for the steering, or for a different purpose, and then there is a steering wheel also included in here for perhaps a custom version, or is it stock? Then we have our pulley cover, the front engine. You can actually see some nice kind of ghost pulleys in there. A little bit of a black wash will bring them up nice. And then there's our tie rod there, and of course the exposed pulleys and our exhaust pipes. And now this piece here, this is actually the grille of the car. Is it ringing any bells to you nostalgic guys? Well, let me know if you've got it in the comments at this point in the video, but please don't reveal what the car is, because I want people to guess. And if you do, I'm just going to delete your comment. So now let's go on to the next component. And now we have our next component, which is the glass. Now, this component here is actually the top of the car, and this might start to give you some better clues as to what it is. Hopefully you'll be able to know, but if not, well, stay tuned, because eventually I will reveal what this mystery car is. And as you can see, we've got 2 sets of tail lamps, and those would have to be tinted red, depending on the version of this car you're building. And the headlights, there's 4 of them, and that might give you some clue. So now that we've seen this, let's go over and see the next parts. Now these components are very interesting, and you may be wondering what this big ring here is. That of course was for our previous part to sit in. Bubble tops were quite popular in the 60s, and this one would fit right on there. So again, remember to scrape your paint where it's going to connect. And then we've got some little exhaust pipes, very spindly guys. Now here's the custom bits. You have 2 different rear ends to this car. One with the prickles on it, with the 4 taillights, and one with bars on it with the 4 taillights and a spot. These spots are for the license plate. Then we have this tonneau cover, and then these very interesting supports. Those are for a spoiler. And of course you gotta sand off these bumps. Or do you? Nope, those are meant to be there, okay. Those are holes for emblems. I thought they were mold release marks, but that's on the other side very subtly. There are some mold release marks on these exhaust pipes, as you can see, probably. They would have to be cleaned down. There we go. Now, are you able to figure it out yet? Well, let's move on. Thought I'd just take a break from our look at plastic parts and show you the decal sheet. Now look at these. These are nice orange with white pinstripes, and they are done really, really nicely. And there's a clue now here. This is a Revell monogram kit from 2001, which is actually a reproduction of an earlier kit. And if you recognize these, you are on your right track to knowing what the model is, but please again, don't let the other guys know. Alright, now let's get away from the decal sheet and look at the last couple of plastic pieces. And here we have the frame. It's in two pieces. My thumb is covering a little bit of the clue as to what this model is, so I'm just going to keep it there. But here's another clue. You see, these are the headlights for this car, and they are actually from a 1959 AMC Rambler. So if you know what car used these, remember, keep it a secret. And then we have these little bumps here, which are part of the bodywork. And they have the mold marks on them, so you're going to have to sand those down. The frame has some nice channeling here on the other side, and little marking places for the cross braces to glue in. Then of course we've got these neat little things there. That's a mystery to me. Alright, and now let's look at some more of the revealing parts. Now here, this clue should really get you going. Here we have some actual bucket seats that were original to this car. And as you can see, they have a nice tuck and roll in them. And they're two-piece, the back of the bucket and the front of the bucket. And then our door panels here, continuing that nice tuck and roll. There's the top of that roll bar for the optional bits. Now here's the fender arrangement. Do you recognize this? If so, again, let us know the time that you figured it out, but please, not the actual car. And there's the other Rambler light there. And now let's take a look at our final component. And now here's our final component of the car, the actual body. As you can see, it's a nice little roadster type of thing. Looks very cool. Has the open back, so you can put in those two rear panels. One of your choice, of course. And then it's got the opening for those fenders that we saw. And of course the fit on here is quite nice. Quite nice indeed, once of course everything gets broken off the parts tree. And hopefully you guys have figured this out by now. So let's go and take a look at our instructions, which will give it all away. And here we have our instructions passing from one hand to the other. And it shows you how this engine goes together really nicely. And you can see just how many cool features it has. There's that gigantic cover going over the fan belts. And then there's our frame and how that all goes together. And the little upper control arms and the chrome lower ones, as well as our kingpins and tie rods. And then our rear axle and frame. These are radius rods going off the rear axle, just for some stability in this car. Next we have the engine and chassis alignments. We've got our radiator and water pipes going in. And then our wheels going together. Of course you have to paint that white wall in there. And there's more of the frame and our interior with the seats going together, just like I explained. Oh, that's not a spoiler, that's somewhere in the back. Okay, and then these little things are the inside body then here we have our glass going on with these pistons and locking retainers. And then when you flip the glass up, as it shows, the retainers kick in so you don't pull the whole lid off. Then we've got our chrome hood ornaments and antennas. We're in the front of the car. And of course there's the grille and those headlights going in. And then we have the back, and now you can start to see what this car is. The taillights go in. They don't show the alternate version with the bars. Then there's our body going together onto that chassis. And finally your decal placement. And there you have Ed Roth's Beatnik Bandit. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of What's in the Box, where we got to review the Beatnik Bandit from Revell. And this is a reissue, of course, but it's done in the original box. You can see the great blueprint of the car right there, as well as the vintage artwork. And here's another great bit of the past, Revell's speed and show team. Builders and drivers of America's most famous cars. You got Dean Moon, Bob Tyndall, Ed Big Daddy Roth, Tommy Ivo, Doug Cookie Cook, Tony Nancy, who was a drag racer, and Mickey Thompson. So yeah, very, very cool. So I hope you're able to find one of these kits online, and I hope you enjoyed our mystery Ed Roth video. And until next time, happy model building. I really hope you enjoyed watching that great video. It was a joy to make. And again, I thank you for not revealing exactly what car it was, but for just letting us know when you discovered what car it was, the time. And if you really like this video, please again, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and pound that notification bell so the next time I make one of these great videos, you'll be the first to know. And if you want to leave us a little tip, please check us out over on our Patreon account, where you can get some really cool stuff that you can't get here, like your name in the credits, like these guys, as well as stickers, t-shirts, and all kinds of cool stuff just for becoming a Patreon over at the Monster Hobbies Patreon page. And if you would like to see me do a couple of more of these great videos, please check out what I've already done here, 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 and here. I'm sure you're going to love them. And if you like this new format that I'm doing, leave a comment below. And until next time, happy model building.